Hey love, in 2020, I was dying. Here's the book I wrote, How I Saved My Own Life. I'm reading it to you. You can get it on Amazon or the tappy place in my bio. The door frame. I knew it was over on a Tuesday. Of course it was a Tuesday. He knocked lightly on the office door and leaned against the frame. He had some information to relay. Small, unnecessary. The kind of thing that could have been a text or really nothing at all. But I hadn't seen him in days. He traveled, and when he was home, I was in my office or outside in nature. The only two places that felt honest anymore. The office, especially. The one I had built inside a dream I was still trying to hold open with both hands. The PhD programs, the applications, the quiet, persistent reaching towards something that had my name on it. Not ours. Mine. And he had looked at those applications the way a banker looks at a bad investment. Not a good return, he said. Return? On me? I filed that word away without letting myself feel it. The way you file a diagnosis you're not ready for. You hear it, you nod, you go on folding laundry and making coffee and doing the 10,000 ordinary things that keep a life looking like a life. But the word stays. It waits. He relayed this information looking at his phone, and then he didn't leave, just stood there, leaning and exhaling. Something had lessened in him, some expectation he'd always claimed he didn't have. The programming runs so deep in humans that most of us don't even know what we're doing, what we're searching for, and what we're silently demanding. What we have built our entire sense of safety around, he didn't know either. He just stood in my doorway, and I looked at him, really looked. And in the space between us, in the quiet, return came back. Not a good return on investment. I sat with it this time, let it open. An investment, a return, a liability to be managed, redirected, contained. Not a woman, not a mind reaching towards its own becoming, a line item. And I thought about the early years when his love had arrived like weather, present, encompassing, certain. And then the child came and the weather changed. And I told myself that was normal. This is what love does when it matures and settles and focuses. I'd been telling myself that for a long time. Standing in my doorway, looking at his phone. He didn't know he was showing me anything. But I could see it now. The whole shape of it, the architecture underneath, what he had needed me to be and what I had slowly, quiet, irrevocably stopped being. Not a failure, not a punishment, a fact. And I felt nothing. Not anger, not love, not grief, not the familiar pull of the old program telling me to soften, to engage, to make him comfortable in my space. Just clarity. The kind that arrives quietly after years of excavation that lands like a stone dropping into still water. I'd outgrown him. Not as a punishment, not as a verdict, as a fact. He didn't have anything for me. Not because he was a bad man, but because I had become a woman he was not built to hold. The gig was up. The contract was complete. He stood in the doorway looking at his phone, and I sat in my chair looking at him, and we both knew, even if one of us knew we knew, this was over. What remained was only logistics. How do I get out of this marriage, this house, this life? The answer, as it always is inside the Eden Protocol, it was one step. Just the first step. The pattern had been named. The mechanism had been set. You cannot unsee a pattern once you've traced it all the way back to its root. And once you see the cage, you find the door. Tell me in the comments, what are you feeling? Follow. Love you.